when looking at Indiana State, man, all I can say is wow. Just to see the determination of our young men and how they played, you know, watching the film and reassessing just how our guys gave effort. You know, we talked about our theme of playing with fire this year, and I did thought throughout the game we played fast throughout the whole game. You know, in the first half we wasn't as intelligent. You know, with penalties that hurt us, some of the chances that we took in the back end hurt us. But I was very proud that how our football IQ really came to light in the fourth quarter. We made some smart decisions with our coverage. We got Jimmy Fox. He did a nice job when he got in. And the young men never quit. You know, we played relentless. And, you know, you always look at the film. We always got to find ways to be more efficient. But like I said, the fourth quarter really was a true tell of the integrity that our young men have in believing in each other. And when Jimmy Fox got that interception, the first person that came over there to give him love was Chris Turner. And I told Chris Turner after that game, I know he was disappointed, I'm very proud of your maturity because he easily could have you know, been disappointed and didn't want to be a teammate. But he responded very well. So I was very proud of him, and it was a great team win. And so, you know, we're looking forward to the next opponent as we get ready to prepare for Jacksonville State. We have history with them based on last year, but Coach Gill did a great job on Sunday explaining to them it's a new year. We're a new team. We're focused. We had a great day on Sunday. We've already had a lot of young men in on today asking us questions about the game plan. And so I think we're real excited to play another game and see what we can do this weekend. At this time, I'll take any questions.
What were some of the adjustments you made in that fourth quarter?
Well, you know, we kind of felt like because of the score that Indiana State would probably change their thought process of being so much unbalanced. And so that allowed me to open up my call sheet once I kind of felt like they wouldn't be giving us unbalanced formations, what we call UConn, when they bring the tackle over, because when they start doing that formationally, you got to have your proper count. And so early in the game, we put a lot of pressure on our corners. You know, I don't make any bones about it. We knew that we wanted to make sure we had the proper numbers when they did all the unbalanced formations for the run game, and that worked because we stopped the run. But, you know, unfortunately, our corners didn't probably have the best of nights. But I've already talked to them. I told them right after the game, I believe in them. I'm not discouraged. I'm not worried. Those two young men have won a lot of football games for this football program. And so, you know, you're going to have some nights where it's not going to go your way, especially when we're asking them to cover a very good receiver. We wasn't really bringing pressure because we was making sure everybody was accounted for in the run game. And that led to some max protection where the quarterback really had a lot of time to set up and throw the football. But I believe in our guys. They both came back with a great look. It was good to see, once again, Jimmy Fox play well. But in the fourth quarter, I was able to open up the playbook, and I think that definitely helped us.
Talk about the fourth quarter. You bent, but you didn't break a lot, especially after the second and third quarters. And the 4 drives Indiana State had in the fourth quarter, you had a punt, short field held them to a field goal, punt, and then you had the block field goal. How pleased were you to see those guys, especially under those circumstances, and really the second time this year that they've been asked to make plays in the fourth quarter and make them to preserve a win?
Well, I think it starts with the mindset and being more mature. And like I talked about earlier in preseason camp, we talked a lot about football IQ and what to expect in certain situations. So in the fourth quarter, our young men kind of knew once they, like I said, went away from all the unbalance, it was just football. And so you saw the communication of our calls. You saw safeties and corners talking about splits on the field to be ready to think about what plays are about to occur. And so I feel very good about the maturity of our room, and that helps in the fourth quarter. Guys don't panic. Nobody's on the sideline not wanting to make a play. All those young men are, hey, Coach, we're ready. And just like in the Baylor game, the young men really relished the opportunity. It was the same mindset when we knew we probably was going to be on the field to close this game out.
Coach, last year's game with Jacksonville State got away from you, especially there in the second half. Do you harp on that? Do you go back and examine the tape and figure out what went wrong, or do you just kind of toss it out and start anew?
Well, I look at it, you got to always address the issues. And so, I watch the film to address, what we may have to get cleaned up. But I'm a person for getting those things which are behind and you press forward. And so it's a new year, new season, new team. They have a new team, maybe have a lot of returns, but it's a new year. And so for me, I'm excited to just play this game, an opportunity to play a team that we did play last year. But our young men know that it's going to be about us. It's going to be about us executing. We got to clean up the penalties. We got to make sure we are stronger in the second and third quarter, especially the first drive of the third quarter. But we start fast. We finish well. We got to make sure we take care of second and third quarter. And I'm not too much harping on last year because, you can't control that. But we can control this upcoming Saturday.
Two questions, they're not similar. First, on the timeout on fourth down, what did you see that made you want to get on the headset and get Coach Gill to call the timeout before the play? And second, what do you guys need to do to clean up the penalties so these personal foul penalties start diminishing?
Well, I'll start with the second question that you asked. It really just boils down to our young men controlling their emotions. We had 3 personal fouls on our defensive line, which we all know is very uncharacteristic of those young men. But that adrenaline rush, opportunity to make a big play, they're just trying to get to the quarterback. Watching the film, the officials got to do their job, and I respect that wholeheartedly. We know we got to address some issues of how we attack the quarterback. The thing I was very proud of is those 3 young men Sunday stood before this team and apologized to them. Devontae Brown, Tolan Avery, and Jawan Wells. And, that's maturity. They realized, Coach, at the end of the day, we hurt our team. And so when you look at that, I think that's going to take care of it in itself because they've already acknowledged that, hey, we can't keep doing this. And so I feel very confident that we're going to get those alleviated. To answer your first question, the reason I wanted to call the timeout, I wanted to try to get our speed package on the field because it was 4th and 5. So, you knew it was going to be a pass, and we kind of had our base on the field. And, you try to run certain games, you really want that speed out there to try to compress the quarterback. And so, I felt very bad that I put Coach Gill in that situation, especially when we were celebrating. But the officials got to do their job, and they were correct. And, our guys still played hard, and we came away with the win.
A lot is expected from Jawan Wells. Praise his play the first 3 games, and why was he able to have his best game of 2017 last weekend?
Well, I think we all know that Jawan Wells is not a hitting gem anymore. You watch how teams are utilizing their pass protection. They're really going to take care of Jawan Wells. He's going to have to work to try to get a sack, and he understands that. And I know sometimes a little frustrating for him, but he's starting to mature to realize, hey, when people realize you're a very good football player and they understand that you can make a game-changing play, they're going to account for you. And I think, he's starting to really relish that, I'm that guy on the defensive line that people are going to earmark. And, I think he's starting to really come into his own, with the help of Coach Singletary to realize that, it's going to be a running back that's probably going to chip me. I can't get frustrated by that. The ref may not see certain things, and I just got to continue to fight through. And I think mentally he's starting to become stronger to that point.
How do Jacksonville State, how do their offensive weapons compare this year to last year? Obviously, Rock Thomas is back, but they did lose Eli Jenkins. I mean, how do their weapons compare?
Still very dynamic. Rock is a very exceptional running back. Their receivers are still just as good. They only played 2 games. And so I think with the quarterback, Bryant, they're still trying to learn him a little bit more, but he's very efficient. He did a nice job, in my opinion, in both games. And they're well coached. So they had a bye week, and so we know we're going to get their best shot because they're a very dominant team, and they play very well. So I don't see where it's going to be a fall-off. They do what they do, and they do it at a high level.
Coach, break down your vantage point of the block field goal last week. I think Coach last night on the radio show called it Desperado. Mm-hmm. That's the name internally of what you called that push. We've heard all out as well. So your thoughts on that and the coordination between you and Coach Downing and how that play came to fruition?
Well, Desperado is a play that we, is our last play of the game, field goal block, and we work it. We work it in camp. Coach Gill does a good job with Coach Downing making sure we get live action with that so we can get the timing. And so our young men knew right away when we was in that situation that we were going to go to Desperado. And Corbin Jackson and Ryan Davis are the two young men that are jumpers. And, we always have little jokes about who can jump the highest. So I think right now Corbin Jackson is definitely going to take that over Ryan Davis. They both are exceptional basketball players. And so for us, the guys were ready. I mean, we worked it enough in preseason camp to where you saw it. You saw what we taught in camp come to fruition in the game. And Coach Roberts is really the mastermind behind it for our defensive field goal block scheme. And so I give all credit to him and Coach Buckbinder for how we developed that. We made some decisions personnel-wise to move Corbin and Ryan Davis to the back end to be our jumpers, and it worked out very well for us.
How do you feel your corners match up with their receivers?
Match up well. It's going to boil down to technique. We watched the film on Sunday, and just eyes. Bad eyes by our young men, and we knew we had them on islands for a long time. But, like I said, Jacksonville State receivers are very good, but I feel very confident in Jeremy Peters, Chris Turner, Malik Matthews, and Jimmy Falks that they can hold their own in man coverage as long as they continue to utilize the proper eyes and technique.